That day, I brought 90 love letters with me, determined to express them to the male god. But life is so unlucky that you encounter robbers. The stupid robber snatched all my mail. Before I could run far, I punched him and broke 3 ribs. The next day, news about me and him appeared all over social networks. The first comment came from the male god I secretly love. "Where's the weak, innocent little white flower? You're such a buffoon." During the 4 months of pursuing Truong Noyet Bok, I played the role of an innocent white flower. During the first 3.5 months, I tried every strategy to approach him, from a cute sister, a cold sister, to a girl as bright as the sun, or even a mysterious girl with a dark heart. I have changed immeasurably, but in his eyes, I'm still just air. Until one day, my roommate stayed up all night reading an old romance book and swore that men only like girls who are clumsy, weak, and gentle like angels. So on day 16, I decided to experiment. Wearing a light white dress, I accidentally slipped and fell into Truong Noyet Bok's lap. Finally, after half a month of silence, he opened his mouth and said the first sentence to me. "Let's go play somewhere else." Romance certainly does not deceive people. I was moved to tears. And so I continued to maintain this small white flower image for the next 3.5 months. Yesterday, my career turned to a new chapter. For the 50th time, I boldly invited Truong Noyet Bok to see a movie, and this time he agreed. I was so excited that I had already thought of the name of our second child. The news shocked the dormitory. The old man spent 3 hours helping me have a delicate makeup layer, making it look like I wasn't wearing makeup. The second man chose a light, pure white outfit for me. The old man sternly told me to moderate my gestures accordingly. I stayed up all night to write 90 love letters to Truong Noyet Bok. We were determined to win all or nothing and quickly end our 20-year single life. The next afternoon, under the expectant eyes of my classmates, I happily went out. On the way, I passed by a bank. I exchanged a lot of coins, intending to go pick up animals later to sublimate my feelings. After that, not long after leaving the bank, I encountered a robber. The robber held a knife and snatched my phone. He forced me into an alley and threatened me to hand over all my money. I looked at that guy's fierce face and the shining knife in his hand. Without thinking for a second, I quickly trembled and took a handful of coins from my pocket and gave it to him. He punched me on the head. "You bitch, you lied to your father." And then he conveniently took a few coins from my hand and put them in his pocket. "What else? Bring everything here. Don't force me to take it myself." Big Brother ferociously threatened me. I trembled and gave him a few more coins. "Big Brother, 3 dots. Boss reluctantly took the coins and hit me on the head again. The force of the hand was quite strong. I almost burst into tears. "Oh, you motherfucker. You robbed money and even robbed the poor. I saw you coming out of the bank, carrying a big bag and a small bag, so I came to rob you of money." Big Brother grabbed my bag himself, with a trace of regret in his voice. In my bulging bag were more than 90 love letters. Big Brother fished out 3 more coins. He angrily hit me on the head again. This time I cried. That's all I brought with me. Big Brother still did not give up. He opened the middle compartment of the bag, pulled out a piece of paper, and read the words written above. "Your eyes are like bright stars. Your body sparkles. Maybe it's fate. I can't take my eyes off you." What is this? From the Big Brother's eyes as big as green beans, a bit of doubt appeared. Love letter. I hesitated. He pulled out another. Like a chemical reaction, your gentle gaze burned me, warmed me, and healed me. What are you talking about? Love letters? Is it any different from song lyrics? Even if you're poor, you're still stupid. Big Brother raised his hand and threw my love letters to the ground. Oh, this shit. That's the result of my night's labor. I was angry and wanted to burst out of my lungs. While he was loading money, I bent down, picked up a brick and hit him in the head. Big Brother didn't have time to take precautions and was pushed to the ground by me. "Fuck you, do you want to die?" He was about to stand up. I quickly ran up and kicked him, causing him to fall into the air. The knife also flew several meters away. "Give me back my phone." Afraid that Big Brother would run away, I sat on top of him. Big Brother's ribs made a crack sound. Then he lay still on the ground, completely motionless. "Hey, you weren't crushed to death by me, were you?" I was startled, quickly stood up and grabbed his arm. "Brother, are you okay?" "Stop talking. Call the police, boss." A moment later, he nodded slightly. Did you just see something that I can't see? Nothing. My phone is broken. All it can do is beep. Your mother is afraid that you will look down on me. I put my phone away, giving an impeccable reason. The corner of his mouth curled up slightly, then changed the subject. Are you hurt? I stared at his bright red lips. My eyes immediately filled with tears, but I quickly shook my head. My voice was also very determined. It's okay. Even though he beat me and took all my money, I'm really okay. He hit you. Truong Noyet Bok frowned, his face gloomy. Yeah, hit me on the head 3 times in a row. I quickly nodded. He proactively reached out his hands towards me and stood up to see if there was anything uncomfortable. I'll take you to the hospital. Great opportunity for both sides to be ambiguous with each other. I quickly grabbed his hand and rushed to my feet. After I stood up, I couldn't bear to let him go. Truong Noyet Bok was also kind. He left me alone to hold my hand, and then turned around and asked, Police? Yes, where's the robber? He's at the hospital. I felt guilty and replied, Oh, he hit my head, so I'm dizzy. Go home quickly, I want to go back to sleep. As I spoke, I grabbed Truong Noyet Bok's sleeve. My body was as soft as noodles and leaned against him. Truong Noyet Bok's body stiffened, but he did not push me away and did not ask any more questions. I'll take you to the hospital to see if you have a concussion. Truong Noyet Bok coughed. The miserable robber was still lying in the hospital nearby. If we go there, everything will be exposed. I quickly waved my hand and refused. Let's take a look. He grabbed my arm. No, it's late. I want to go back to sleep. I quickly answered, forgetting to adjust my tone to be sweet. A fierce and eloquent voice immediately came out. Truong Noyet Bok had 3 points. His expression was complicated. It's probably fine with a voice like this. I 3 dots. It's not okay. I thought this problem had been resolved until the video of the alley's camera was posted on social networks. The reason is because the police station organized a reality show. The content is about protecting yourself in public. But the performance team was so cruel, they edited my video and posted it online. This video quickly went viral. In it, I picked up a brick and hit the robber in the head right when he was about to get up. I kicked him down and landed on a fishing buoy. Then I sat on top of him to prevent him from moving. He lay on the ground, barely breathing, telling me to call the police to save my life. I haven't watched this video yet, but Truong Noyet Bok sent it to me. The title is extremely shocking. The girl with 2 brothers treats the thief like rice. On SOCBOMBO, thieves had to call the police for help. I can't see that you are also very heroic. I could even make up Truong Noyet Bok's in different tone. I feel guilty. It's because you didn't see the previous part. He dared to insult the love letter I wrote to you, insulting my feelings for you. I found a reason for myself. The green fruit is bitter if it's not sour. I broke him to pieces because of you. Truong Noyet Bok is really powerful. I stared at that message, not knowing how to respond. So I lay down on the bed and opened the comments section of that video. Ha ha ha. Bad luck for the thief. This sister's 3 punches are also very powerful, proving her class with her ancestors. Ascension by way of thieves. This is the first time I've seen so many comments about me. That night, my Douyin account was hunted by netizens. After just one night, there were 3,000 followers. Old Dai comforted me. Even though you're heartbroken, you'll have money in a few days. When you're 40 years old, you can raise 10 handsome boys like Truong Noyet Bok to run around the house. Rude. I'm not that crude. I love Truong Noyet Bok's beautiful soul. I defended myself. But I thought about the scene of 10 Truong Noyet Bok running around the house. My heart was filled with excitement. I typed on the keyboard and said lock tap. What are you doing? Laodai looked at my computer. Are you planning to submit your thesis early? I shook my head. I will seriously write another love letter to Truong Noyet Bok, 90 letters. The last letter was not enough to express this feeling. Laodai questioned. I'm not like you. I curled my lips. Both love and money, I want it all. When I'm 20 years old, I must have Truong Noyet Bok, young and handsome. At midnight, I sent Truong Noyet Bok a 3,000-character love letter. 5 minutes later, Truong Noyet Bok returned me a plagiarism check report. The plagiarism rate is 88%. PH, you're too strict. Reminds me of one of my mother's relatives. Truong Noyet Bok's cell phone shows that she is texting. He texted back and forth for half a minute. Finally just sent a message, my mother's son-in-law. I happily replied. Older brother. Truong Noyet Bok did not refute, but also told me, "Forget it, you want to be my mother's son-in-law, right?" Truong Noyet Bok. At noon the next day, I accidentally met Truong Noyet Bok in the cafeteria. What a perfect occasion. We are truly destined. I placed the plate of rice opposite Truong Noyet Bok and sat down next to him. He looked at me faintly and did not answer my words because I often accidentally ran into Truong Noyet Bok's old roommate. He is very alert. As soon as he sees me, he will go somewhere else. "Let's go see a movie tonight. There won't be any unexpected things this time." I elbowed him. He put down his chopsticks, like he was thinking about something. "I won't go to the bank again. This time I won't bring any money either." I raised 3 fingers to swear. Truong Noyet Bok pressed my finger down. He took out his phone and clicked on WeChat. Truong Noyet Bok was still cold and emotionless, but there was a gentle smile on his face. The alarm bell in my heart immediately rang. "Is this your plan to chat with some girl in front of me?" 2 seconds later, I received a WeChat message from Truong Noyet Bok. He forwarded me a video. Then my loud voice rang through the phone. "Then let me squeeze some juice for everyone." On the screen, my face was fiercely crushing an apple in my hand. Silent. Today, I understood the saying, "Silence is golden." I momentarily didn't know what to do next. This is a video recorded by my aunt during a family meal during Tet last year. My cousin used his fingers to open a beer bottle cap, and I, not to be outdone, performed a demonstration of squeezing apple juice by hand. At that time, I thought it was funny, and with the support of my relatives, I posted this video. Yes, now it's really funny. Tears of laughter. Truong Noyet Bok, if I said that was my second personality, would you believe it? I made up a far-fetched reason. My second personality is very strong, and I am very weak. Phew. He laughed. Really? I'm still holding back not to tell you. I pouted. Truong Noyet Bok smiled again. "So why did you say it today?" "My mouth is faster than my brain." "Speak a little sooner. Wait until the premarital health check to know, then it will be too late." Truong Noyet Bok, 3 points. I don't know if I was hallucinating or not. It seemed like his ears suddenly turned red. Under my relentless pursuit, Truong Noyet Bok still agreed to go to the movies. Before choosing a movie, I researched a lot, selected among comedy movies, and chose the most meaningful and reputable one. A blogger with 300,000 followers reviewed. "This is a very touching movie. After watching it, you will think about the unforgettable feelings." She is also uploading a photo that simulates a scene in the movie, pasting a small flower on her lover's hand, hoping to find each other again in the next life. So touching and so meaningful. I immediately went looking around to see if there was anything that could create a small flower shape. And that evening, I brought 6 huge grape seeds to the theater. Because the guys in the agricultural school didn't want to share the wheat with me, I had to eat grapes all afternoon. Then we collected 6 grape seeds this size. Yes, it's probably possible to create a real flower shape. This movie is really touching. I sat in the movie theater constantly shedding tears, surrounded by nonstop sobs. At the end of the movie, the male protagonist uses wheat ears to create a small flower, then places it on the deceased female protagonist's hand. I cried in the dark, groping for Truong Noyet Bok's hand. He paused a bit, but remained silent so I could hold his hand. I took out the grape seeds and slowly placed each seed on the back of his hand. Shaking Truong Noyet Bok's hand made a very loud sound. "Truong Noyet Bok, do you hear anything?" I thought I heard wrong, so I asked him in a low voice. Nguyen himself went to the hospital. Truong Noyet Bok was silent for a moment. I cramped Truong Noyet Bok's wrist joint. I rushed to the hospital to ask for the doctor's help to skillfully reshape Truong Noyet Bok's wrist and carefully bandage it on the outside. I crouched in the corner, not daring to say a word. The doctor smiled. "Your joint tightness is quite good. It's rare and hard to find." Truong Noyet Bok faintly. "Yes." After an hour, he turned his head and calmly looked at me. I bowed my head in shame and embarrassment, rubbing my hands. I don't understand how a normal hand, with 5 normal fingers, can create such great power. After finishing bandaging and fixing, Truong Noyet Bok stood up and left. I immediately leaned forward and grabbed Truong Noyet Bok's hand. The doctor smiled. "Help your classmate rest for a few days." "You study?" My mouth questions faster than their brain. "Aren't we like lovers?" When I finished speaking, all 3 of us were stunned. So embarrassed, I stammered and laughed. "Well, TV dramas often have such misunderstandings. I don't mean anything, haha. The doctor smiled mysteriously. There's no misunderstanding. The atmosphere between the two of us is too pure. On the contrary, you look like the culprit who broke his arm. The doctor looks really good, I dryly replied. Remember my happiness. Truong Noyet Bok's hand needs to rest for a week. On the way back to the dormitory, I patted my chest and said, Don't worry, Truong Noyet Bok. I will take good care of you this week. Truong Noyet Bok snorted coldly. Before going out, you pretended that nothing unexpected happened to you. Last time, nothing unexpected happened to me, but this time I pretended that nothing happened to you. I replied softly. The dim streetlights make Truong Noyet Bok's figure become gentle. Truong Noyet Bok's heart trembled slightly and called out, Brother. He turned his head to look at me. His eyebrows and eyes were also very soft. The dim light shone into Truong Noyet Bok's dark eyes. I almost had a hallucination. He looked at me with deep eyes. I reached out and grabbed his sleeve. He suddenly got worried and lifted my chin. Nguyen too, aren't we kissing too fast now? My mind is a bit confused. Then, a stream of warm liquid flowed past my lips. I don't bring paper. His fingertips touched my lips. You have a nosebleed, I questioned. Did I desire Truong Noyet Bok to this extent? I cried loudly. I didn't bring any paper either. Truong Noyet Bok sighed. He took the corner of my jacket and placed it on my nose. Then, he squeezed my nose. After about 2 minutes, he let go of my face. I held Truong Noyet Bok's hand and took a breath. Truong Noyet Bok, I was almost strangled to death by you just now. Truong Noyet Bok slightly raised the corner of his mouth, seemingly in a very good mood. Okay, no more bleeding. Go quickly. I'll be back quickly to deal with it. He gently urged me. I was asked to ask for Hai Ba Trong. I secretly reached out my hand towards him. If you don't hold my hand, how can I go fast? Truong Noyet Bok laughed out loud. You really? The second half of the sentence was very gentle. Coincidentally, I sneezed. What should I do? I asked again. He shook his head, then pinched my wrist, pulling me forward. I said, You intentionally caused trouble. Oh, men are pain. He took me back to the dormitory downstairs. Along the way, we passed more than a dozen couples kissing passionately. I raised my head to look at Truong Noyet Bok's collarbone, beautiful chin, bright red lips. Suddenly my mouth went dry. I think my nose is bleeding again. Truong Noyet Bok tilted his head. Huh, it's all your fault, being so infatuated. In my mind, I remembered the short video about Truong Han's girlfriend's perspective, and I accidentally caught that oily expression. Is this Truong Han's love so much that it has turned into grease? Come in quickly. He pushed my head away. The demonstrations also became strange and cold. Be patient. I'll bring you breakfast tomorrow. I forced a smile and told him. After showering, I happily lay on the bed and texted Truong Noyet Bok. What flavor do you like? Cantonese, Sichuan, Hawaii Duong. Truong Noyet Bok did not reply, just forwarded me an article about fire safety in colleges and universities. Instructions for escape and self-rescue. I know. I woke up to cook for Truong Noyet Bok. The old man was surprised. Since when do you know how to cook? This is the power of love, I immediately replied. At 7:30 a.m., I took the elephant lunchbox and went out. Handsome Truong Noyet Bok went downstairs to eat breakfast. Love, think for a moment. I added 2 more shouting emojis. Truong Noyet Bok quickly responded with 2 words. Wait a moment. Truong Noyet Bok is very disciplined. In less than 2 minutes, he appeared downstairs in the Nam dormitory. Truong Noyet Bok, I excitedly ran to his side. This super delicious, nutritious breakfast I prepared for you. Truong Noyet Bok glanced at my elephant lunchbox, his expression a bit confused. How long have you been preparing? It's only been an hour. My voice gets smaller and smaller. Oh, I urge you. Go back to the dormitory, it won't be good later. He reached out his hand and gently pushed it away. Thank you. This was the first time Truong Noyet Bok had such an intimate gesture with me. I could almost jump up and spin several times in a row. No thanks, I'm leaving. I embarrassedly gently punched Truong Noyet Bok's shoulder, making him stumble and almost fall. I didn't dare look at Truong Noyet Bok, so I quickly held my head and ran away. As soon as I entered the dormitory, I received a text message from Truong Noyet Bok. Truong Noyet Bok, it's been hard for you, along with a photo of the meal. Nguyen Tu Tu. Did you wake up at 6:30 a.m. just to make Truong Noyet Bak a bowl of instant noodles? Why did the boss just come back from buying breakfast and I was setting the table? When she saw the shell of stewed chicken noodles with mushrooms, she screamed in surprise. Boss, give me a thumbs up. In an hour, the noodles turned into porridge. I bowed my head and muttered. Makeup took 58 minutes. I only made noodles for 2 minutes. Truong Noyet Bak is also very qualified and can let him pursue for 3 months. The boss sat down on the chair, not daring to believe it, and asked me again. Yes, what are you talking about? How about me? The old man shook his head. Truong Noyet Bak spoils you too much. I rushed forward, frantically shaking my shoulders. She is the one I take care of and love, Truong Noyet Bak. But normal people can't stand your kindness. Old Ni's voice suddenly came from behind the curtain of this cruel world that couldn't see my efforts, except for Truong Noyet Bak. Good-natured and nice, Truong Noyet Bak is too reserved and cold. He was not moved by my enthusiastic pursuit for several months. More than 4 months. Enough for a male star to break up, but he still hasn't accepted to become his boyfriend. I laughed when I saw Noyet Bak. If I didn't see Truong Noyet Bak, I lamented. Every day, Old Ni scolded me for not having money. The 7th item is Mr. Ni's birthday. 3 days in advance, she told her friends in the dorm that she would invite a party, all of whom were super handsome guys. I didn't pay attention. I opened Truong Noyet Bak's photo on the phone screen and looked at it again and again. My aesthetic was on Mount Everest. Those ordinary men outside. Ho ho ho. I won't be moved, let alone look at them. Laoni was quite calm. She directly sent 18 pictures of her abs to the dormitory search group. Where are the morals? Where are the good customs? Where are the people? I have to go see who doesn't have such virtuous qualities. I immediately raised my hand to show my attitude. Old Ni was speechless. At 9:30 p.m., I sat among many fashionable men and women. I bowed my head, not daring to make a sound, just blushing and taking sips of water. I thought I was dressed very splendidly, but in front of these fashionable people, I looked so plain. I don't dare communicate with them. The music outside was loud. A handsome guy with curly hair came up to greet me. I looked at his simple sweater and pants and immediately felt like I had found an ally. I quickly responded enthusiastically. This handsome guy is very talented, especially when it comes to gossip. At first, I just pursed my lips and smiled faintly, but then I fell into those ridiculous jokes. I quickly revealed my true form, laughing faintly and faintly. Ha ha. Crackling. I laughed sideways and back, laughing out the sound of a pig. I accidentally squeezed the glass in my hand and broke it into pieces. My smile suddenly disappeared. The curly-haired guy and I looked at each other, and he silently moved his butt away from me a bit. After a moment of silence, he turned around and chatted enthusiastically with another girl. Wow, you cold man. I turned pain into tolerance and drank 3 glasses of wine at once. I don't know how I'll get back to the dorm. When I opened my eyes again, it was 2:30 the next afternoon. The dormitory is quiet. I turned on my phone and immediately panicked at the thousands of comments on Dwin Drink X Riot. What I'm most afraid of is someone else reminding me. I'm different. I recorded the entire process of wearing my pants myself. I clicked on those comments and the smile on my face froze. Last night, I turned pain into tolerance. In the end, he got drunk and became the ghost in the video. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I was crazy, crazy, crazy. Why doesn't Truong Noyet Bak like me? How can you refuse a beautiful, generous, gentle, and elegant girl like me? Causes must have results. Handsome Truong Noyet Bak can only belong to me. Skyscrapers all rise from the ground. I have to rely on myself to get Truong Noyet Bak. Truong Noyet Bak doesn't like me. Is it because I don't put sausage in instant noodles? Ho-ho. I watched video after video, my fingers shaking, my breathing gradually becoming shallow. Cruel netizens are still laughing hysterically under each video. I painfully clicked on WeChat, preparing to scold Mr. Ni for not stopping me. Huh. I turned into a dog. Old Ni frantically explained. I pulled you, but I couldn't. Last night you could have crushed my head with 2 fingers. I was stunned. How is it possible? I don't have that much strength. She didn't reply but sent the video directly to me. In the video, I am holding a debauched, lavish wine bottle, making people drunk. Big Brother takes you to the social wrong side, using his fingers to pop the bottle cap. I poured wine for the handsome men and beautiful women in the bar. How can my mouth say these words? Furthermore, this way of opening wine bottles by hand is my cousin's skill, so how can I do it? Human potential is truly limitless. Oldney, I saw you lightly touching the broken glass bottle. I really don't dare move forward. Believe me, I really want to stop you. The video is starting to go viral. I quickly turned on private mode. The internet world is too complicated. From today, I am determined to quit social networks. I raised my hand and swore with tears in my eyes. But before leaving the internet, I couldn't help but ask Old Knee. How did I get back here? Old Knee, you called Truong Noyet Bok to bother him so that he would bring you back to my soul like half dead. Is it such an important thing? Now you say it. Old Knee hesitated. Because you didn't even ask me. I despaired, turned off the phone, and lay down on the bed. Don't ask about my current mood. Life is worse than death right now. I didn't dare ask Truong Noyet Bok what happened, because when I'm drunk, I no longer have any humanity left. In 11th grade, I celebrated the Mid-Autumn Festival in my hometown. At that time, my mortality was not very high. I was looking at the moon and drinking 2 glasses of wine and meat when I got sick and my face turned dark. My mother said that day when I dug sweet potatoes around my grandfather's house, no grass grew anywhere. Even 7 or 8 adults combined could not stop me. Sure enough, the next day when I was going to the club, I happened to meet Truong Noyet Bok submitting documents in the office next door. If you are afraid of something, you will encounter it. Furthermore, now Truong Noyet Bok is injured at the wrist joint, which is not yet healed, and his jaw is turning purple again. In his own words, Truong Noyet Bok waved at me. Come here. I was so embarrassed that I didn't dare raise my head to look at him. He motioned for me to come over. I immediately rushed out the door like a bird afraid of a bent branch, not daring to stay a moment. I hurriedly ran straight to my dormitory. The club president called behind me, but I pretended not to hear. This year I'm 20 years old, and I've worn pants many times, but the total is not as good as winning in pants in front of Truong Noyet Bok. I no longer have the face to face you anymore. Looking at Truong Noyet Bok's pitiful appearance, I probably tortured him all night. Huh, are you in the dorm? 3 roommates came in from outside. Don't you go to the club to work? I held the broom, shook my head, sobbing and speechless. Old Knee was surprised. Self, don't you know? They said there was a female student in the area who stole a broom. When she was discovered, she ran as fast as a dog. In the blink of an eye, she was gone. The old man nodded in agreement. When I entered the dormitory, I could still hear them discussing. When she crossed the field, she was as fast as a rocket. The crazy team during training couldn't catch up. She finished speaking. The 3 of them laughed loudly. I froze. The female student ran very fast holding a broom. Oh, the familiar scenery, the familiar keywords. How familiar. Hey there, smile. Why don't you smile? Old Tam poked my shoulder. I gave a smile that was worse than crying. Guess what? The 3 of them looked at the broom in my hand, then immediately fell silent and looked at each other. I covered my face, not knowing whether to cry or not. I said I didn't even know I was holding a broom. Do you believe it? Finally, Old Knee sighed in comfort. It's okay. This life is very short. It will soon pass. After returning the broom, I didn't dare go down to the cafeteria for several days, afraid that people would recognize me as the broom thief. Before, every day I tried to run into Truong Noyet Bok, but I couldn't. Up to now, when I go to see people, I can still see Truong Noyet Bok walking outside. I immediately threw the trash into the bin and hurriedly ran away. Nguyen Tu Tu, Truong Noyet Bok chased after me. Stop running. Truong Noyet Bok and I felt like we were filming an action movie. I run, you chase, I run into the sky. Truong Noyet Bok, don't chase, don't chase. I put on my slippers and ran 2 kilometers along the road outside the dormitory. In the end, female Truong Noyet Bok still couldn't catch up with me, but it wasn't because I ran fast, but because she met an enthusiastic crowd. Meaningful work is enthusiastic, helping the crowd enthusiastically. Perhaps thinking Truong Noyet Bok was a pervert, they immediately rushed out and punched Truong Noyet Bok 5 meters away. Truong Noyet Bok lay weakly on the ground, barely breathing. The crowd enthusiastically pressed Truong Noyet Bok to the ground, shouting, "Don't be afraid. We have him under control. This unruly man. Big brother, it was all a misunderstanding." I quickly turned around, and even my shoes fell off. I was just playing with him. The other big brother was still bewildered, probably thinking about the meaning of the word play. I ran to help Truong Noyet Bok. It's just two younger brothers chasing around. Help me. This big brother's body is full of muscles. What should Truong Noyet Bok do if he's crushed to death? Truong Noyet Bok, are you okay? I didn't dare touch him. My hands kept shaking. Truong Noyet Bok's breath was fragile. Come give me a hand. Enthusiastic boss and girlfriend rubbed their hands shyly. You two are joking around too intensely. I tried to force a smile. Yes, we are quite active too. That big brother is not only enthusiastic, but also responsible. He intended to take Truong Noyet Bok to the hospital. Truong Noyet Bok had to refuse forever before giving up. I helped Truong Noyet Bok sit on the bench. Truong Noyet Bok, are you okay? Truong Noyet Bok did not answer. His eyes looked at me. Why are you hiding from me? I don't have it. I still spoke loudly, deliberately tilting my head to one side. He frowned, squeezing my face. The voice carried a bit of self-pity. You ran away when you saw me and said you didn't avoid me. My face was distorted by him. I mumbled in a low voice. So you didn't text me. Haven't your hands healed already? Why are you squeezing my face even tighter? I sent you a WeChat message, don't you know? How do I know? I've been doing a lot of things these past 2 days and wearing pants, so I don't dare read WeChat. I'm even so scared that I close my eyes and delete all the dialogue boxes on WeChat. He gritted his teeth and threw the phone to me. I just touched Truong Noyet Bok's cell phone and caught a glimpse of my profile picture. You saved me at the top? What does note 19,014 mean? He coughed loudly. Click on my profile picture. Just place it casually. There's no such thing as arbitrary. I don't really believe it. I'm pretending to be a mature woman. Lightly punched Truong Noyet Bok on the back. Truong Noyet Bok changed from a dry cough to a violent cough. A cough that would make his heart and liver fly out, his lungs expelling. Are you okay? I was stunned. Of course I don't. You blocked my phone number and WeChat. I sent 800 messages to no avail. Told my roommate to call you. And in the end, you still didn't answer a single one. The more he talked, the angrier he got. Then he knocked on my head. How can I stop you? I don't remember either. I replied softly. Truong Noyet Bok took a deep breath. I really don't remember anything. Your roommate used a strange Xinjiang number, so I was on guard. If I knew it was you, I would have picked up the phone right away. Suddenly, Truong Noyet Bok leaned close and placed a kiss on my lips. Remember now? My mind went blank. Truong Noyet Bok kissed me. What is this happening? I covered my mouth, opened my eyes wide, and raised my voice a little. Remember what? Truong Noyet Bok kissed me again, a direct kiss. Don't remember anything? I licked my lips and thought wildly. Your lips are so soft. Having finished speaking, I was stunned. What did I just say? The other night, Truong Noyet Bok prolonged her voice and then sharpened each word. You told me to take you back to the dorm. As soon as you got out, you pinned me against a tree. Then you kissed me and said you wanted to go on a date with me. Now you don't remember anything. That's really good. I opened my eyes wide. So why are you still injured? I pointed at Truong Noyet Bok's chin and asked confusedly. Truong Noyet Bok's momentum also suddenly weakened. I didn't let you kiss me, but you hit me hard on the head. Do you have to kiss me? Is that so? This time, my momentum weakened. We sat next to each other. After a few minutes of silence, I bent down in front of him and carefully asked, So do you agree? He raised his hand and grabbed my chin. I sent you so many messages. Do you think I agree? Agree, definitely agree, right? I covered my mouth in surprise, trying to swallow back the scream that was about to escape my throat. 2 days ago, you were my boyfriend. My voice trembled. He snorted coldly. You still dare to ask, do you regret it? I really regret it. I'm really worthless. You're my boyfriend and I still block you. You're really worthless. Truong Noyet Bok used force to squeeze my face. After we kissed, you said you only loved me. You also promised to set clear boundaries with other guys. Truong Noyet Bok took another deep breath. In the end, the only guy whose boundaries you drew clearly was me. So, I drank too much and mistakenly blocked Truong Noyet Bok's WeChat. Besides you, there is no other man in my eyes. I rubbed my hands embarrassedly, apologizing to myself. Baby, please forgive me. It's very natural for me to change my name. If you agree with me, you absolutely must not say 2 words. Who can refuse a girl who is acting like a babe? I grabbed Truong Noyet Bok's hand and shook it back and forth. Truong Noyet Bok's hands turned red. Take me to the hospital. My arm was scratched by your enthusiastic big brother. We went to the hospital again, and the person treating us was still the same doctor that day. Truong Noyet Bok's wrist still hasn't recovered well. This time the big brother brutally broke it again. The doctor looked at the photo of Truong Noyet Bok's wrist and could only exclaim in surprise. TSK TSK. This condition of hand tightness is truly rare and hard to find. Truong Noyet Bok was still as calm as last time. He just nodded silently. I hid in the corner again and didn't dare make any noise. The doctor skillfully fixed his wrist again. Next time be a little more careful. Don't let your joints get tight again. Like a little eunuch, I quietly stepped forward and held Truong Noyet Bok's hand. Do I need to abstain from anything? The doctor thought for a moment. There's nothing to be afraid of, but I'm worried. Raise your hand for what? The doctor drawled. Aren't you two planning on staying away from each other? Although I believe in Marxism, I feel that my two grandchildren are clearly not destined for each other. It's better to be apart than to keep tormenting each other like this. Oh my God, you're a charlatan. I grabbed Truong Noyet Bok's hand and quickly left the doctor's office. Don't talk nonsense. We get along very well. A well-matched couple is predestined. After walking more than 20 meters, I thought about it and was still angry, so I turned around and yelled at the doctor inside. The doctor laughed. In the room, I officially announced my date with Truong Noyet Bok. My 3 roommates weren't interested either. The old man scratched his ear and calmly replied, I know. There's nothing surprising. Laoni added. Although Truong Noyet Bok pursued himself like that, he still did not report to the police. It is definitely not normal. Old Tam interjects here. It's called love on the inside, but on the outside there's still fear. These bad friends make me no longer in the mood to share anymore. The first week of dating Truong Noyet Bok, I packed my things and went home. On the weekend, I intended to conquer his heart and stomach when I told Truong Noyet Bok that I would prepare a sumptuous meal for him. Truong Noyet Bok said seriously, Nguyen Tu Tu, I really don't like the smell of mushrooms. I tilted my head in confusion. I take a deep breath. If I want to prepare, I'd rather have beef noodles. Embarrassing memories came rushing back. I quickly ran to cover his mouth. Last time, Kay didn't allow it. This time, when I go home, my mother will guide me directly. I'm sure the food will be very rich and worth looking forward to. I patted my chest and promised. That afternoon, I brought an elephant-shaped lunchbox to go on a date with Truong Noyet Bok at. Want to show off your amazing cooking skills? What did you prepare? Truong Noyet Bok forced a smile and said softly. I opened the lid, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, bell peppers, and potatoes. And I opened the last dish, today's main dish, fauna chicken wings. Looking at the brilliant blue chicken wings, Truong Noyet Bok smiled even more reluctantly. So creative, because I couldn't find Coke in the refrigerator, I think Fanta chicken wings have a similar taste. I'm shy and humble. Truong Noyet Bok opened the lunchbox. How did plain rice turn out like this? You cook sticky rice very carefully. I gave him the chopsticks. Try a piece and see. In my waiting eyes, Truong Noyet Bok quietly picked up a small piece. He pursed his lips, a trace of surprise showing in his eyes. Crackling. We looked at each other awkwardly. The chopsticks were broken in half. I awkwardly replied. There must be a problem with the sticky rice. It's too sticky. It's not because I cooked it. Truong Noyet Bok raised the lunchbox, sighed, and gently patted my head. From now on I will cook rice. That afternoon, the sun was shining. Sunlight shines on Truong Noyet Bok's face. I was stunned and nodded unconsciously. As long as it's Truong Noyet Bok, it doesn't matter who cooks. Even if I starve for the rest of my life, it's okay. I touched my heart that was beating rapidly. It's broken. I got involved with that bitch's love affair side story. Truong Noyet Bok on summer vacation after graduating from high school. He passed the driver's license exam in 32 days. He drove a car at the school gate after receiving permission from the coach. Wander around for a while. But before the joy could double, the sadness exploded in 2 flashes. He crashed into a luxury car. From an aspirational young man, he fell into debt. Finally, during that long summer vacation, Truong Noyet Bok had to work hard at his second uncle's pork stall to make up for his debt. On the afternoon of August 14, 2019, The car of a tour group in the city arrived in front of Anne's pork stall. A group of old men and women wearing red shirts and holding small flags stepped out of the car in front. Looks like a young girl. In that girl's eyes, she shined like the stars in the sky. "Boss, give me half a pig. No need to cut it up. We can carry it ourselves," the girl said excitedly. Truong Noyet Bok served half a pig, confused and not knowing what to do. Then, the petite girl slung the bag over her shoulder. She carried half the pig extremely easily. Truong Noyet Bok's heart was pounding. That night, he carefully wrote down the winning date in the notes on his cell phone, January 19th, 14. That was the day he fell in love with a girl. Then, at the opening of university, Truong Noyet Bok met that girl again. Her name is very lovely, Nguyen Tutu. Nguyen Tu Tuesday. As long as he calls her name like that, his chest will be as soft as water. The two of them chatted each other. He named her in the phone book as 19014. He had practiced coconut many times, but still did not dare to send her the words hello. After thinking for a long time, he clicked on Nguyen Tutu's friend circle. He saw a photo of Wu Yanto with her double line. "I like that kind of cold man. I've been pursuing him for 3 years, and he still doesn't agree at all." Truong Noyet Bok was stunned for a moment. He quickly turned off the message interface with Nguyen Tutu. After that, Nguyen Tutu followed him for more than 3 months. Every time he wanted to drop his weapon and surrender, he remembered that double line. In the end, he became the cold man Nguyen Tutu wanted. The first date failed. Nguyen Tutu plays king. At the police station, every scolding of her teammates was very difficult to hear. Truong Noyet Bok has been a good student since childhood. Just seeing someone else swearing makes you frown. But when he heard Nguyen Tutu scolding those words, he felt that those people deserved to be scolded. She raised her head to talk to him. Truong Noyet Bok could barely hear what she was saying. In his mind, he only thought of the very lovely Nguyen Tutu. On their second date, the lights were dim that night. Her lips are pink and plump. Truong Noyet Bok suddenly felt like kissing her. "You really..." He couldn't help but speak softly, making others love him completely. Thank you for listening.